across the state of Nevada and in SoCal, too, and all across Congressional District 3. It is live and local now. Kevin Wall with you. And and by the way, this hour brought to you by Tarkanian for Congress, because guess who's here? My buddy Danny Tarkanian, who joins us in studio. You just missed Paula Jones. You realize that?
I didn't until you told me. I'm sorry I missed her.
Yeah, and she's in town. They're going to have a big rally out at the Elks Lodge on West Charleston, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's like right around the corner from your house.
Yes, it is. And I was invited to come, and I'm going to make an appearance there, too.
All right.
So I'll see you there.
You will love Paula Jones. She is the sweetest gal. But the first thing you'll notice is...
I know Bill did.
Oh, hey, I'll just... That's horrible. Although it cost him $850,000. That's what the settlement was. And by the way, there was no non-disclosure agreement, believe it or not. I guess that was before non-disclosure agreements back in the 90s. Danny Tarkanian joining us, running for Congress in CD3. And in fact, I'm going to be moderating the Lieutenant Governor's debate tomorrow night at, the Red Rock Republican women are going to be coming together, and I'm going to be the moderator.
The ARW?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a great group, for one, and they do a great job running the programs. That'll be wonderful. So Roberson and LaFonda...
No. Michael Roberson's not going to be there.
What's happened to Mike?
I don't know. Everybody else is going to be there. It's going to be like four candidates, but no Roberson.
Well, it's disappointing.
Does that surprise you, though? I mean, because we're seeing more and more candidates that may either feel they've got it in the bag or whatever they're feeling, and they just choose not to show to these things.
If that's the reason Michael Roberson's not showing up, then shame on him, because he certainly is a front runner. He has a name ID. He was a majority leader in the state senate for a while, and he probably has more money than any of them. But this is an opportunity for the people this is a statewide race, for the people around this community to see what these candidates have to say when asked questions off the cuff against one another. It's one of the few opportunities, real legitimate opportunities, to get a gouge on who you want to vote for. It's a disservice for him not to show up. I understand Crescent Hardy's not showing up to the debates in CD4. There's been a couple of them that he's missed too. I don't know the reason why. Maybe it's timing, or if it's because he's the front runner. Then I think that's disappointing. I just had a debate yesterday on the Las Vegas Review-Journal with Victor Jakes. He's putting it on his the website, yeah. So that should be up there today. I had the opportunity to say no, I didn't want to appear on these debates, and I gain nothing by it. I just give my opponents an opportunity to get their names out there and to get some publicity. But I felt it was important to show up and give people the opportunity to hear from me firsthand and have to answer tough questions and in a tough environment. So I did so. I'm also going to appear on maybe my least favorite debater, John Ralston. Actually, I've done real well with John. He gets things quite fiery, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy.
But you know what I like, though, and I've seen you do this before. You give as good as you get. I mean, Ralston, I've seen Ralston try and grill you, and you just turn the thing right around on him.
Well, you say that. I hope I do it on Monday. I think it's Monday, the 21st, if that's Monday. But his debates are more lively because he makes it more confrontational. Victor was more policy-oriented, although that one it got lively also. But the point of the matter is I showed up to both of these debates. I'm not gaining anything politically by doing so, but I think it's the best thing for the people that you're going to hopefully represent, or at least that you have the opportunity to represent, to show up. I hope that's not why Mike isn't showing up. Because he's a front runner. I hope he has a conflict in the schedule.
Let me just ask you, in CD3, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been rather civil. It hasn't been incredibly nasty, has it?
Well, no, with everybody except one person. Mortensen's gotten very, very bad, particularly on social media. And I'm used to people saying negative things about me. In fact, in my political race, they've spent over $10 million running ads, much of which has been defamatory, and you have to take my word for it. The court system has said that they're defamatory. But Mortensen, her campaign manager, sent out some social media stuff that Mortensen retweeted and liked, which attacked my wife, which I just think is despicable. Anybody who knows my wife, first of all, knows she's the most lovely lady around.
She's a sweetheart.
Everybody loves her. To attack her is just below the belt. the lady who calls herself the campaign manager for Mortensen tweeted out that my wife was a trickster, that she was a butch, and that she needed to start a GoFundMe page to pay for her Botox. And Mortensen retweeted or liked those comments. And I just think that's so despicable. We haven't responded because I think what Morton wants us to do is to get in for tit for tat to let people think she's actually our closest competitor when I'm more concerned with Scott and him being in the state Senate and his ability to raise money that way and so forth. But we haven't responded directly to her, but I just think it's wrong. And I wonder if I get the opportunity, I'm going to express that. If she's here, if she's not here, you shouldn't be attacking spouses. You shouldn't be attacking children of the candidates. Those things should be off limits. She's also said a lot of negative things about me, but I can handle that stuff.
By the way,
hasn't said anything more negative than other people.
If she goes after little Jerry, she's going to have to answer to me. She's not going to pick on little Jerry because Jerry's my bud.
Or Ava, I'll tell you, the sweetheart Ava. Ava, she was on the phones calling from your last election and getting an earful from some responders, and she handled it with such class and dignity. I'm very proud of her.
More to come. Danny Tarkanian in the House. He's running for CD3. He is the front runner right now. Is there any new polling coming up? Is there any new polling coming out?
I haven't heard anything. If anybody had done a poll and they were closer than they were in the last one, meaning my opponents, they would have released it by now to show that they're catching up. So I haven't seen anything, so either they haven't run any polls or it's not gotten any tighter. We are making phone calls and walking our campaign, and we haven't seen a change in the voters' response at this point, so we feel pretty good about where we're at.
More to come from Danny Tarkanian. We're talking about the race in CD3. We're also going to talk about some of the issues that he may face when if he goes to the United States House of Representatives in January. We'll do that and more coming up live and local now. That he may face when if he goes to the United States House of Representatives in January. We'll do that and more coming up live and local now. It is live and local now. Danny Tarkanian in the House. He's running for Congress in CD3. And, we were talking about some of the nasty stuff that goes on. Is there anything you can do to get it to stop? I mean, no, I'm serious, though. Either by shining a light on it or...
Okay. Look, before I ran for public office and I told my dad, hey, I want to run for public service, he said, Danny, why would you do that? The people that are the most successful are the ones that lie the most or have the most money to lie the most often. Yeah, I laughed just like you did. I thought he was wrong, but he's clearly the truth. And I'll tell you how bad it is. I won a defamation lawsuit already against an opponent who claimed I was involved in telemarketing fraud when all I did was prepare a corporate document as an attorney. Well, Jackie Roser ran virtually the same ads, almost identical language, in the last election. And she put in the ad quotes from Review Journal and Las Vegas Sun articles claiming that they said these statements in there, but they never did. Those statements aren't even in those articles. In fact, the articles both mentioned me winning the defamation lawsuit. But she had the audacity to run that ad, knowing it was defamatory. So I sued her. You know what her defense is? Her defense, and is up in the front of the Nevada Supreme Court now, is this is a political speech, is protected in the First Amendment, and we can say whatever we want. Is that the worst disposition in our country for the First Amendment rights? I mean, just because you run for politics, you can say anything you want, even though you know it's a lie, defamatory, and despicable, and you're going to do it. We learned our lesson. The last race, Rosa and the Democrats, the DCCC, they ran $7.5 million of these defamatory and lying ads. We didn't respond to them. I was asked by my wife, my mother, even the lady who bags my groceries. She said, Danny, you got to respond. People believe in this stuff. My campaign staff kept saying, no, the polls show you're doing fine. If you respond, you give it credibility, and we didn't. And what a mistake that was. If you saw President Trump's, candidate Trump's responses when people attacked him, he attacked them right back, and he ended up winning. I let them walk over me, and we lost. We're not going to let that happen this race. Is there anything you can do? Usually the people with more money get the best bandwidth. Bandwidth is going to have the most effect, but we're going to fight back with every cent we have. and we're going to show that these are lies, they're not true. And let me ask the listeners here, why would anybody want to vote for somebody who runs these type of ads where they're lying about their opponent? And all these ads are lies. If anybody running for office had this kind of baggage on from them, they would not be running for office. They'd be hiding under a rock somewhere or in jail. They wouldn't be running for office. So these ads are all wrong. So I ask the listeners, do you really want to vote for somebody, elect somebody who lies to get in office? Because once they get in office, you know they're going to lie they're going to lie to you when they're in office on how they vote. So that's why we have such bad representation.
But you've had the courage to go after people who did this kind of thing, and you've won. I mean, this is not a matter of there's some non-disclosure agreement and a settlement and none of that. You've actually won in a court of law, and you may win again against Jackie Rosen.
I'm going to win again because even the judge said the statements he didn't believe were true and substantially identical to the ones that already won the defamation lawsuit on. So, I'll win again. But you know what happened? Last election, last time I won $150,000. My attorney took $130,000, so I walked away with $20,000. But my opponent remained as a state senator, and I have that as a loss on my record, which my opponents still use. Last election, I lose by 1%. Jackie Rosen's running for the U.S. Senate now. She could be a senator based upon the fact she lied and defamed me to get into office, and I'll win the lawsuit. But you know what? How she gets to pay her attorney fees? The federal FEC, the government allows elected officials to use campaign funds or money they can raise from donors to pay for their attorney fees costs. So when I got to pay for my attorney to file this lawsuit, she gets donors to pay for hers, and she's in office. The system is completely wrong. We shouldn't be encouraging this type of behavior. Yes, I have the courage and conviction to fight these things, and it's not me personally. It's my mother and father who raised me this way. More my mother. My father was a fighter, but my mother is tenacious. She never backs down from anything that she feels is a wrong, and unfortunately, I got that. In fact, my mother says to this day, and she's gotten very old, she goes, it's so sad because she thought she could change the world. She fought every injustice that she saw, and seldomly did she win, and you leave very disappointed. And she's instilled that upon me. So I keep fighting everything, thinking this is a wrong. We're gonna break through. We're gonna do something great to change society. And unfortunately, more often than not, because we're the small people in a very powerful world, you end up failing.
Do you think you will get a judgment prior to Election Day? Will we know if Jackie Rosen is convicted?
No, the first lawsuit took 5 years. It happened in 2004. We got the judgment in July of 2009. This one is on appeal to the Nevada Supreme Court, and once they rule in my favor, it goes down to the district court for trial. And again, their whole argument on appeal is this is a First Amendment issue. We're dealing with political speech. We can say whatever you want. It's protected. I mean, it's not what the Constitution says. The Constitution says you have there's certain limitations that you could have, and the limitations are you have to show malice, and that means you have to know what you said was not true, or you acted with reckless disregard to find out the truth of it. Where obviously Jackie Rosen knew that these almost identical statements were already ruled defamatory, so she knew they weren't true, and I think we're going to win going away.
Okay, I want to ask you about a couple of issues. Only have a few minutes. Iran. Did the president do the right thing moving the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem?
So that's with Israel, and yes, absolutely. Israel is the only country in the world that hasn't been able to determine where their capital is going to be, and I think it's about time that we do. And this is something for everybody to know, too, and I just realized this. Israel is the only country in the entire history that has had Jerusalem as a capital before. Nobody else has ever designated as that. Why can't they go back and have the capital they had before? Iran, yes, I believe the president did the right thing, not because we're going to have the best results from it. They'll be better than staying in the agreement. The problem is the agreement was the worst thing that we could have passed. I don't know why President Obama thought this would be a positive thing for his legacy. It allowed Iran to have billions of dollars, open up trade with all these different countries around the world, and now that we reinstigate the sanctions, the rest of the world very well may not, and we won't have the same effect.
Are we responsible, or is the president responsible, or is America responsible in moving the embassy that set off all of this violence? 58 people dead. Do we have to take blame for that?
Why would that be?
Because Hamas
got upset that Israel wants their embassy to be in a certain spot in their country? Well, of course not. That's a silly statement. It's a statement that a lot of the people on the left will say, and a lot of people that argue that we shouldn't have done this. The sad fact of it is this: Israel is our closest ally in the Middle East. They wanted the embassy and the capital to move to Jerusalem. It was that way under King David 3,000 years ago. They should have that right to do so. Imagine somebody telling the United States of America, we want to put your embassy in Wichita, Kansas instead of Washington, D.C., and how would handle that?
That's hitting a little close to home, if you don't mind.
I know.
I grew up in Kansas
of
City. Okay, very quickly, in about 45 seconds, North Korea, they're now threatening to pull out of the summit. What's going on there, and are you still behind the president's tough talk against North Korea?
Of course, because the soft talk got us to where we were at several months ago, so whatever we get out of this is a positive. I'm not surprised that North Korea would bounce back and threaten certain things. This is how negotiations go. You ask for everything, and you come down to something that you can accept. President Trump has said we want everything, and North Korea says, no, we're not going to give you anything, and hopefully they'll come to an agreement that can make this whole world a safer place.
It's called the art of the deal. Oh, and I think he knows something about it. Yeah. Danny, always good. If folks want to help you out, if they want to do yard signs, they want to walk neighborhoods, give you money, whatever, where do they go? How do they find you?
They go to Tark, TARKNV.com. That's our website, Tark, TARKNV.com.
Always good. We'll have you in again.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
You stay cool. That's Danny Tarkanian. He will be with Paula Jones, believe it or not. Yeah, tonight.
I will be at an event with Paula Jones tonight.
I'm sorry. Did I say that wrong? Oh, my God. I'll be hearing from Amy. Oh, my God. Stick around. More to do as we continue. It is live and local now.
Don't you love her as she's walking out?